Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are looking inside, well, what you might call the nervous system of modern display technology. We're tackling a source that looks pretty technical on the surface, a deep dive into a device that's really at the operational heart of professional video systems. If you've ever seen a control room, maybe a stadium scoreboard, or just massive digital signs that run completely flawlessly, well, this kind of box is often how they pull it off.
Yeah, what we have here isn't just a piece of hardware. It's almost like a manual for managing complexity. The device we're zeroing in on is the WolfPack 4x4 seamless HDMI video wall matrix switch.
Right.
And our mission really is to strip away all that jargon,
Yeah.
and explain the single most important thing it does. This switch takes what could be a confusing mess of inputs and outputs and turns it into a perfectly synchronized command center.
And the company behind it, HDTV Supply, they've clearly been in this game a long time, providing certified AV products since, 2003?
That's right, 24 years in business overall.
So this isn't just some theoretical tech. This is established industrial-grade stuff. We're really looking at a roadmap for reliability here. Let's start with the absolute fundamentals, yeah.
Agreed. Let's unpack the core function first.
Okay, so let's start with the name. It's a 4x4 matrix switch. Now, most of us know a simple splitter or maybe a switch box, connect a couple of things to one TV. What does that matrix part really add here?
It adds total autonomy, basically.
Yeah.
A standard switch is usually 1-to-1, or maybe many-to-1. But a 4x4 matrix like this, handling 4 HDMI inputs and 4 HDMI outputs.
Right, inputs and outputs.
Exactly.
Okay.
It means any of those 4 sources can be routed to any or even all of the 4 displays. Independently and at the same time. Think of it like a really smart traffic cop for your video signals.
Okay, so you could send, say, a camera feed from input 1 just to display 4, while maybe sending a computer feed from input 2 to displays 1, 2, and 3, all set up as a video wall.
Precisely. That's the flexibility. It's both a matrix switcher and it handles the video wall functions.
That flexibility really does sound key. Now, this specific device, it supports 1080p at 60 Hz. And even though, 4K is everywhere now, why is still important for a professional workhorse like this one?
Well, it's about ensuring backward compatibility and, maybe more importantly, reliability. There's just a massive installed base of professional gear out there. Think specialized monitors, cameras, older computer systems that still use these standards.
Okay, so it guarantees it plays nice with existing stuff.
Exactly. It's the foundational layer of stability. But critically, it manages that 1080p signal with robust built-in scaling. That's really important.
Scaling. That's where things can sometimes get a bit shaky, right? If my source resolution is a bit off or the display expects something slightly different, the picture can look wrong, or worse, you get lag. How confident are we that the scaling inside this specific 1080p box is truly robust enough for professional use?
That's a fair question. But that's where the engineering detail comes in. The source actually specifies the bandwidth at a, frankly, massive 18 gigabits per second.
18 GBPs for 1080p. That seems like overkill.
It does, but having that high bandwidth provides essential headroom. Even though 1080p itself doesn't technically need that much data rate, having that extra capacity helps prevent things like data compression artifacts or lag or stuttering, especially when you're running all 4 channels simultaneously through those internal scalers.
Okay, so the headroom ensures quality even under load.
Right. The scaling process itself is handled internally, likely by a dedicated chip, making sure the output is always perfectly formatted for whatever screen is receiving it.
Right, okay. Now here's where the value proposition really starts to crystallize for me. That word seamless. This switch specifically promises seamless switching.
And this is the key insight, I think, for any professional buyer. Traditional, cheaper switches, they involve a momentary disconnect when you swap sources.
Yeah, the screen goes black, or maybe blue.
Exactly. It loses the signal, it has to resync, and then the new image pops up.
Yeah.
That flicker, that little disruption, it's just, well, it's fatal in certain environments.
You think about maybe a broadcast control room or a sports analyst trying to switch instantly between different replays. If you lose the feed even for a split second, the whole flow is broken.
Absolutely.
And the source material actually puts a number on it. It says this device switches in only 100 milliseconds.
Yeah, in 100 milliseconds. That's fast enough to make the transition visually instantaneous to the human eye. The really critical phrase in the source is no black-blue screen during the source's switch.
So it's not just fast, it's clean.
It's clean because the device isn't just reacting to the switch command, it's being proactive. Because of that built-in scaling we just talked about.
It connects back to that.
Right. The matrix switch has basically already prepared the new source signal, scaled it correctly for the display before the switch is even fully executed. That's what allows for that really polished, invisible transition.
Okay, so the goal is absolutely zero perceived downtime between sources.
Very cool. So if we've mastered the speed of switching, the next big challenge this box solves seems to be mastering the scale. That brings us squarely to the video wall features. When you merge, say, 4 displays together, 2 terms jump right out from the specs. Bezel correction and 16 scenes. Let's take bezel correction first.
Right. So when you physically put 4 displays together, like in a 2x2 grid to make one big picture, you inevitably have the frames, right? The plastic borders, the bezels. They create these distinct, usually black, boundaries or gaps in the overall image.
Okay.
Bezel correction is basically an image geometry feature. It intelligently warps or adjusts the picture data just slightly, compensating for those physical gaps between the screens.
So it's essentially trying to cheat the eye. It adjusts the picture so like a straight line running across the whole wall looks straight and continuous, even though it's crossing those plastic borders. That's exactly it. It makes the final combined image look correct and, cohesive across the entire display assembly. Without that kind of processing, frankly, the video wall just looks sloppy, unprofessional.
Makes sense. And then we have the 16 scenes. That sounds, well, it sounds like customizable muscle memory for the whole system.
That's a great way to put it. It's purely about operational efficiency. The switch supports up to 16 pre-programmed memory slots, or scenes as they call them.
Okay.
This lets you save 16 different arrangements, different layouts of your inputs and outputs. So maybe scene 3 is that 2x2 grid showing 4 different camera feeds.
Right.
But maybe scene 8 is just one input, say a presentation, stretched across the entire wall. An operator can just push a button or use the software and recall any of those 16 complex configurations instantly. No need to manually reroute everything each time.
Saves a ton of time and potential errors, I bet. Now, beyond just the visual arrangement, the source also highlights that this device handles audio independently. That sounds like a crucial detail for proper system integration.
Oh, absolutely. The unit actually features 4 separate 3.5mm audio outputs.
Little headphone-style jacks.
Exactly. What this means is it extracts or de-embeds the audio from the incoming HDMI signal. And importantly, it supports audio-independent switching.
Wait, walk me through a practical scenario there. Let's say I'm watching, I don't know, a silent financial ticker feed on the main video wall.
Okay.
But I need to monitor the audio from, say, a local news channel that's coming in on a different input source entirely. Can I route the audio from input 4, but keep the video showing from input 1?
Precisely that. You get complete granular control over both video and audio elements separately. You could keep one specific audio track, maybe from a background music source, or that news feed running continuously through your sound system, even while you cycle through different video sources on the wall itself.
That level of control really defines a professional system, doesn't it?
It does. And adding to that control, the source mentions it supports smart EDID management.
EDID. Okay, another piece of jargon. Can you break that one down quickly for us?
Sure. EDID. Extended display identification data.
Yeah.
It's basically the digital handshake between devices.
Handshake.
Yeah, it's the smart way a video source like your computer or Blu-ray player and the display like the TV or projector introduce themselves electronically. They use EDI to agree on the best picture format, the optimal resolution, the correct refresh rate, things like that.
Okay.
So smart EDI management means this WolfPack box acts like a really good mediator. It ensures that the source and the display can always communicate correctly, even if they have slightly different capabilities. It helps eliminate those common, frustrating compatibility failures where you just get no picture or the wrong picture.
Right, it smooths out the communication. Makes sense. This device is clearly engineered for environments where that kind of integration and rock-solid reliability are absolutely paramount. Let's look at the sheer breadth of control methods listed in the specs. It seems pretty comprehensive.
It really is. The control options they list are pretty exhaustive, which itself points towards redundancy, built for high-stakes environments. You've got the standard front push button controls, which have nice blue lights, apparently.
Basic local control.
Right. And an IR remote, also for simple local control. But the real power, for integration anyway, lies in the other methods, RS232.
The serial port. Old school, but reliable.
Very reliable. Then TCP/IP, so network control, and a WBUI, meaning a web browser interface, or even a dedicated EPP control.
Let's focus on the wire control for a second. RS232 and TCP/IP.
Yeah.
How do those really differ in practice from just using, say, a simple app on your tablet to control it?
Well, they represent the hardwired reliability backbone of the system. TCP/IP and the web GUI, or the app, offer fantastic convenience, real-time visual feedback, great for quick adjustments on the fly. However, RS232 is that legacy, but incredibly stable serial communication protocol. And TCP/IP integration means the device can be fully automated and controlled by external dedicated control processors. Think large-scale systems like Crestron, AMX, that kind of thing.
Right, the big automation brains.
Exactly. So if the Wi-Fi network flakes out, or if you absolutely need guaranteed delivery of a command in a critical situation like switching to an emergency feed, now that wired control interface, whether RS232 or hardwired TCP/IP, is totally non-negotiable in a professional setting.
So in a serious control room, the tablet app might be the handy day-to-day interface,
Uh,
but that RS232 or wired IP connection is the failsafe, the thing that guarantees the system manager can take control instantly no matter what the network's doing.
that's the distinction, precisely. And it's interesting, the company even references a WolfPack Ultra real-time demo in its feature list, which kind of underlines the importance they place on that user interface aspect too, the app side of things.
Okay, let's nail down some of the logistics now. This specific model, the 1080p 4x4 version we've been discussing, it seems highly accessible. The source listed the price today at $350, and it comes with a standard 1-year warranty. For the level of scaling and that seamless functionality, that actually sounds pretty compelling.
Yeah, it definitely positions itself as a high-value entry point for anyone needing to master complex switching, but maybe doesn't need 4K yet. The physical specs also kind of confirm its focus on, let's say, local applications.
How so?
Well, it's pretty compact. The dimensions are about 11 by 4.6 by 1.7 inches, and it's light. Weighs only about 940 grams, or just under 2 pounds. Sorry, 4.4 pounds. My conversion was off there. Still relatively light.
Yeah.
And power consumption is modest, 22 watts maximum.
Okay, so rack-friendly, doesn't draw much power. We did note one potential limitation, though, the transmission distance. It's specified at 45 feet for 1080p at 60 hertz, specifically when using standard 28 AWG HDMI cables.
Right, and that confirms it's really designed for rack mounting in a local environment. Think a conference room closet, a classroom lectern, maybe a small control room or data center, where the switching gear is pretty close to the actual displays.
So if you needed to go further, you'd need separate HDMI extenders, maybe over cat cable or fiber?
Exactly. This switch handles the complex local processing and routing. Distance is a separate challenge solved by other devices.
Gotcha. And what if a project requires more than just 4 inputs and 4 outputs? The source material indicated this isn't a standalone product, right? It's part of a larger family.
Correct. The WolfPack line seems to scale up pretty seamlessly, pardon the pun. For bigger projects, the company also offers 8x8 and even 16x16 1080p seamless matrix switches. The prices listed were $1,000 for the 8x8 and $1,500 for the 16x16.
So you can use the same core technology, same control logic probably, just scaled up for more sources and destinations.
That seems to be the idea. Maintain the features that seamless switching, bezel correction, scene memory just at a greater scale.
And for those installations that do need higher resolution, maybe for future-proofing or running detailed graphics, they offer higher definition solutions too.
They do. The source explicitly notes a 4K 60 Hz seamless 4x4 matrix switch is available, priced at $850.
Okay, so double the price for 4K capability.
Roughly, yeah. And that provides useful context, doesn't it? It really highlights that this particular 1080p model we've dissected today is positioned as the accessible, robust workhorse switch. Proven tech, gets the job done with seamless switching and video wall correction, all at a, competitive price point for those features.
So wrapping up, we've really seen how this single piece of hardware moves way beyond simple signal routing. It becomes almost like a director for complex display systems. It masters image geometry with bezel correction, offers instant setup recall via those 16 scenes, manages audio independently for flexibility, and crucially, ensures those critical invisible transitions happen in 100 milliseconds or less.
It pulls a lot together. And if we connect all this back to the bigger picture, that sheer variety of control methods, we discussed everything from a simple blue light push button on the front to IR to sophisticated TCP/IP and that specialized RS232 protocol. It raises a really important operational question, I think.
Oh?
Yeah, considering the kind of high-stakes environments this hardware is clearly designed for. You mentioned control rooms, maybe emergency operations centers, live broadcast. Why would experienced AV engineers specifically choose to pay extra for and rely on the inherent complexity of setting up a wired RS232 connection when a simpler wireless app interface seems so much more convenient for everyday operation. What's the real trade-off there in those critical moments?
That is definitely something for you to ponder as you weigh just how much control and what kind of reliability you truly need for your next critical video project. Where does convenience end and where does mission critical reliability begin? That's all the time we have for